Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Week 4 edition of the Border NFL Gurus Commissioner's Address. As usual, I will be your host, your one and only commissioner. So, Week 4, quite a week actually. We had two undefeated teams heading into this week. And if you were following your team at all, you will know that there is still two undefeated teams, as both Joe Buck yourself and Suck My Ditka managed to pull off the wins. Couple injuries, couple boneheaded plays, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get into her. We'll start with Joe Buck yourself versus Billy Large. Joe Buck yourself pulling off the win here, 139 to 107. That pulls Joe Buck yourself, like I mentioned, up to 4-0, but that drops Billy Large to 1-3. And that puts him in the 9th spot. Joe Buck yourself sitting in 2nd, if you can believe it. Joe Buck yourself led by Deshaun Watson, Justin Tucker, and that defense was pretty much lights out again, with the exception of Von Miller, which really propelled him to victory. Even after leaving Jared Goff on the bench with a 45-point performance, 49, he still managed to pull off the win. Good thing he played Billy Large this week because, he 139 was good enough to beat everyone else in the league. But, I was sweating bullets a little bit after that Thursday nighter. Billy led by Carson Wentz, Tariq Cohen, and Brandon McManus, and his defense was just no match. So, like I said, Billy dropping to 1-3 in the 9th spot, looking to trade Le'Veon Bell already too, supposedly coming back in Week 7, but time will tell. Moving over to Hanging with Hernandez versus Clug the Plug. Hanging with Hernandez had some tough luck coming into this one, but he manages to pull out the win, 121 to 89. Clug the Plug still can't even muster 100 points. That's back-to-back weeks. That moves Hanging with Hernandez to 2-2, puts him in the 8th spot, and drops Clug the Plug down to 1-3 and leaves him in the 10th spot. Hanging with Hernandez led by Phillip Rivers, Alvin Kamara, 3 rushing touchdowns and $134 on the ground. Not a bad day. 36 points. Pretty damn nice. Clug the Plug led by Travis Kelce and Austin Eckler from the Chargers. I don't know. Russell Wilson with 9 points in that win against Arizona. That's got to be cause for concern when you're playing Arizona and you put up 9 points. Arizona's bad. So, Clug the Plug got some work to do. Nonetheless, Hanging with Hernandez pulling out the victory. Moving over to LOD versus the Panty Raiders. This was a good game. Panty Raiders actually down by a point heading into the Monday Nighter. Opting to go with Baker Mayfield when there's still guys far more accomplished quarterbacks sitting on the waiver wire. He opted to go with a rookie. Worked for him this week. Like I said, anyway, he won 125 to 121. Good game. That drops Reed to 2-2, LOD down to 2-2, and puts him in 5th. And that moves Panty Raiders up to 3-1 and puts him in the 4th spot. Who did he have playing last night? Royce Freeman. Royce Freeman rushing in that touchdown, and that was enough to give him the win. Freeman finishing with 12 points. LOD led by Matt Ryan with 35. Lynch had an okay day, and his kicker had an alright day. And Panty Raiders led by Melvin Gordon, Adam Thielen, and Baker Mayfield. So he pulls off the victory, and like I said, that moves him to 3-1 and puts him in the 4 spot. Moving over to Rays Finkles versus Vic This. Rays Finkles picking up the win, 132 to 114. And that moves Rays Finkles to 2-2 and puts him in 7th, and that drops Vic This to 0-4. And puts him in last in the league. He switched with Iredell Beckham's. If he would have started a full roster, odds are he'd have won this game. But he opted to go with Rashad Jones, who did not play, and Chris Carson, who did not play, the Seattle running back. I mean, that could have been the difference, but I digress. Race Finkles led by Andrew Lux, 44-point performance, and David Johnson had 16. Nice day as well. So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't take long to set a lineup, so I'm not sure why Vic this didn't, but it is what it is, I guess. So, moving over to Rogers Dodgers versus Rosturbation. Rogers Dodgers picking up the win here, 137 to 103. Good for the third highest point total this week, I believe. We'll go over that later. That moves Rogers Dodgers up to 3-1 and puts him securely in the third spot, and Rosturbation drops to 2-2 and puts him in the sixth spot. Rogers Dodgers having some luck this year. His points against are very low, lowest in the league. So he's getting a little bit of luck on his side this year. Rogers Dodgers led by Zeke and John Brown. Nice surprise, Baltimore wide receiver in that Sunday night game. And Rosturbation led by Adam Jones, Eric Ebron, and Matt Bryant. Other than that, the old offense really wasn't firing on all cylinders, so to speak. So moving over to our final game was Suck My Ditka versus the Iredell Beckhams. Suck My Ditka picking up the win in convincing fashion, 161 to 138. I mean, Suck My Ditka in these point totals, averaging 147 points a game. Next closest would be myself, averaging 136. So, I mean, you average 147, odds are you're going to win a hell of a lot more than you lose. Tough one for Iredell Beckhams, too. They would have beat literally every other team in the league except Suck My Ditka and Joe Buck yourself. So, tough one for them. Looking for that first W, couldn't quite find it. But they're on the right path. Suck My Ditka, their entire offense, nobody had under 12 points, which definitely helps. DeAndre Hopkins with 23, Gurley with 21, Jared Cook with 24, and Iredell Beckham's led by Kareem Hunt with 23. Tom Brady looking a little bit more like Tom Brady with 25 points, and Trey Burton, the tight end from Chicago, in Trubisky's 6 passing touchdown day. I don't think anyone's seen that coming. But regardless, that moves Suck My Ditka up to 4-0 and solely in first place, and drops the Iredell Beckhams down to 0-4. So that was a tough loss for them. Yeah, like I was saying, that points against. Rogers Dodgers has 378 against. The next closest is 439, and that's Panty Raiders. So that 3-1 mark is definitely a little bit of luck, but hey, you got to be lucky sometimes, right? So moving over to our blow to the week. Well, that one belongs to the Rogers Dodgers Rosturbation matchup. Rogers Dodgers was the blowout and Rosturbation was the blowout E. Granted, we've had much bigger ones, but somebody has to get it. So that was a 33-point spread. So congratulations to Mr. Craig Travers, who blew out Rosturbation. Moving over to our Jackass of the Week. Well, this week, you know, it has to go to Vic this. They only lost by 18 points. Now, if you would have started at least a starting running back, he had a good shot. But to start a safety who wasn't playing and a running back who wasn't playing, well, that could have been the difference. And for a guy that was 0-3 heading into this week, you think you'd have took even just 2-3 minutes to check that lineup. But regardless, it is what it is. Mr. Flash, you are our Jackass of the Week. So moving over to week 5. Again, of course, you know, we're still early, but things are starting to take shape here. We got Joe Buck Yourself versus Clug the Plug. Should be an easy win for Joe Buck Yourself, but you never know. Billy Large versus Race Finkles. That's 7 versus 9. Billy Large got some work to do on his offense and his defense. Hanging with Hernandez versus the Panty Raiders, that's your 4 versus 8. And Hanging with Hernandez actually projected to win that one. That would be a huge win for them. We got LOD versus Rogers Dodgers. That's 3 versus 5. That should be a good match. We have Suck My Ditka versus Rosturbation. Suck My Ditka keeps putting up 160 points. They're not going to lose. So, might have to wait until the bye weeks, which they did start, but there was no real key buys last week. Before Suck My Ditka picks up a loss, it's looking like here. And the IR Del Beckham's playing Vic This, the Basement Dwellers. Somebody's going to pick up a win. So it be interesting to see. As it sits right now, IR Del Beckham's projected to win that one. So moving into week 5, again, we got a few more buys. So keep an eye on your rosters. Make sure everybody who's actually in your lineup is going to play. And aside from that, waiver wire opens tomorrow morning. Everyone's fees are paid, so congratulations, boys. Nobody had to forfeit a game, and everything is running smoothly. So until next week, keep playing that wire. All hail the commish.